So at one point throughout all that process is I went out, typical weekend, to go party and ended up getting arrested. And that was my biggest wake up call ever, because here I am on the outside, life looks so great. I'm making such good money, but it was totally like, what the F are you doing, Sam?
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of What's Working in E-commerce. I'm your host, Eagan Heath. I'm the owner of the digital marketing agency, Caravan Digital. Today, we have a special guest. Her name is Samantha Kozuch, and she has a business called the Maniscripting Journal. She's going to talk to us about entrepreneurship and goal setting and mindset and many more things, I imagine. So, Samantha, welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eagan. I'm so excited to dive into all things entrepreneurship, mindset, e-commerce. Let's go.
Yeah, love it. Tell us the story behind the Maniscripting Journal, and maybe it's helpful to describe the spelling of it and where the name comes from.
Yeah. So the name comes from when I was deciding on a name for this company, it was really hard because basically every single name you can think of was pretty much taken in a .com or a trademark, or the social media handles are taken. So I used this method where I started just listing out all the words that had to do with this journal. It's for mindset, self-development, kind of plays on the whole manifestation thing, just because manifestation is trending. That's kind of the hook, but that's not all that this is. But it's basically all about self-improvement. So I started writing down all these words, and then I started just putting two words together. So I ended up coming up with the word manifestation, and scripting means to write. And this is a journal that you write in. So I put together Manny and scripting together, found that voila, I just created a new word. And that's how the name came. And it's so exciting because it's such a beautiful word. And I love that we're able to trademark it and just do everything that we needed to with it. So that's how the word came about. And when it came to actually creating the Maniscripting Journal, it started off in 2020 when the pandemic hit. And I noticed everyone was in this state of panic, of negativity, of trauma, of losing jobs, not knowing what the future holds, all that sort of stuff. And I've been using this method for myself for many, many, many years. When I hit my personal rock bottom and I wanted to change my life and I felt like there was no way out and I just didn't know how and all these things. And I started creating kind of like journaling prompts for myself. And I started creating this vision board of what I wanted my life to look like. And I got into meditating, which I had never done before. And back then, this was like 10 years ago at this point, no one was really talking about that stuff apart from maybe like the Oprah, the Tony Robbins of the world. It wasn't all online like it is today and now and all of that. So I just started creating this method for myself to do each and every single day because I wanted to change my life. And when this thing happened for everyone in 2020, I just started sharing on Instagram stories my morning routine, not to monetize it, not to do anything, just frankly, just sharing like day in the life kind of a stuff. And at the time, I was an online business coach and social media coach. And I had been in the social media space for a really long time at that point, ever since I got out of college. And I slowly started having people ask me, hey, is there a PDF download for these journal prompts that you can, what is this meditation that you listen to? What is it that you write down? How do you create this vision board? And I slowly had that aha moment. It was like that intuitional hit, I have something here. I thought everybody did this type of stuff. What? You guys don't journal? You guys don't meditate? What? Like, this is crazy. So at that moment, I knew I had something, but I didn't know what I really had. And then I just basically got a group of women to get together into a Facebook group. I asked my community, hey, do you guys want to come do this journaling thing with me just to get your mind right? All this sort of stuff. And we really wanted to test it to see if it worked for other people. And sure enough, over that month, I had weekly check-ins with these women. All they had to do was use the journal every single day. And the transformations that they had, or the aha moments that they had, or the things that they quote unquote manifested and had brought to life during this journaling process and throughout their day in life, it was just unreal. I was like, oh my God, this is something. So immediately, that's when I had that confirmation that this has to be created. This needs to become a physical product. And that's how it was born.
What a great story. Can you paint the picture of what was life like before you were doing this? People can see on Instagram and social media a little bit of what your life is like now, but paint that picture for us of what is the difference before and after, maybe for you or for people who've used this.
Yeah. Do you mean before starting e-commerce or before using the journal as a tool?
Yeah, sure. I'm thinking about the journaling method specifically. There's got to be something to this. So I'm curious what that journey's like.
Yeah. So I feel like before the journey, like my pivotal moment in my life was when I was in my mid 20s. When I had graduated college, I was supposed to go to med school. So when I was like 2021, when I just graduated, I was supposed to go to med school. I'd studied many, many years up until then to go do that. And I had my first gut feeling before I graduated, and it didn't make sense. And it was like, you're not supposed to do this. This isn't what you're supposed to do with your life. And it was terrifying because here you are, 20 years old, so young. You're just trying to do what your parents told you to go do, right? I'm a first generation immigrant. So there was a very high expectation that I was going to go be a doctor or a lawyer or something prestigious in that sense because they had worked so hard to get us to this country. And there was a lot of pressure there. And when I had decided that wasn't what I was going to go do, I had to figure it out. And that's when I got into entrepreneurship. I was dating someone at the time that was an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship back then wasn't cool at all, what it is today at all. You were kind of looked at as a loser. What the heck do you do for your life? Are you a drug dealer? What's going on? So I just kind of started dabbling in that, and I started modeling and acting and started doing all these different things, and then using social media and doing all these sorts of things where I was making really good money and having a lot of fun. I was partying a lot. I was working hard. I feel like I had a good head on my shoulders. I had a really big drive to go do sorts of things and be successful. But at the same time, there was so many things going on internally that I needed to heal. Like my self-worth was in the shit. I was basically using social media for validation. I was not healthy with myself. I was not healthy with my friends. I had so many different things that were just moving. It felt like at such a fast speed of gaining the success, but everything internally in my heart and in my mind was just not good. And no one was there to really teach me or learn from or have this mentorship or anything like that, because Instagram isn't what it is today. You don't have your life coaches and your programs and all these different tools readily available. There wasn't really anywhere to go. So at one point throughout all that process is I went out typical weekend to go party and ended up getting arrested. And that was my biggest wake up call ever, because here I am on the outside. Life looks so great. I'm making such good money, but it was totally like, what the F are you doing, Sam? You aren't this girl. You're not meant to be here. You need to get out. You need to start focusing on what you're supposed to be doing with your life. And this isn't it. So it was that next day, I'd literally spent the night in jail. And I woke up and it was time to change. And I just dove straight into literally Googling, how do you change your life? How do you change it? And I came across a movie called The Secret, which I'm sure most people know of. That was my first time being exposed to anything like that, with verbiage of you are the creator of your reality and you can manifest anything that you desire. You have to put in the effort. You have to heal. You have to do all these things. And from there, just got me down the rabbit hole of becoming obsessed with how the hell do I do this? And I felt so alone. I was so ashamed from my arrest. My parents were so upset and mad at me. They didn't get it. They thought I was crazy. I just didn't have any close friends. I was even ashamed to even tell any of my closest friends. Even the friends that I went out with that night didn't know that that had happened to me. And it was over something so stupid and petty, so stupid. But at the same time, I was so grateful for it, because if that hadn't happened, it wouldn't have put me on the trajectory that I am today. And so from there, I really dove into this mindset and self-development work to heal myself and my self-worth and what is really possible, and not to just to do things. Any of my businesses, they were fun and great. I enjoyed them, but at the same time, I was literally trading my time for money, really like a corporate job, even though I was an entrepreneur. I was just working so hard all the time. And I know that there was such an easier way. So throughout these things, that's when I got the clarity of, okay, what are the questions that I want to ask myself? What is holding me back? What do I want my future to look like? What is it that I need to let go of? What is it that I need to heal? What is it about myself that I dislike or hate? And just all these different journal prompts. And I started using this method every single week just to heal myself. And from there, it's like, all right, I needed to see something because every single day you're constantly fighting that shame or that discomfort or that, oh my gosh, who am I to do this? So I created this vision board of what I wanted my life to look like so I could get excited every single day about it. And then from there, I started incorporating the power of meditation, which I thought at first was boring as hell. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. But I just started doing it and I'm forcing myself and just visualizing. And then just slowly over time, I started taking this action. It was really like brainwashing yourself to believe the things that I could do. And I started taking action. I moved to a completely different state. I started making new friends and started doing the things that I actually desired to do, which was so crazy looking back. It's mind blowing even to me that I even did the things. I'm like, wow, I was so freaking delusional, I think sometimes. And that's what it sometimes really takes to get something done. So from there, that's when I started teaching social media because I enjoyed it and I was good at it, and then became an online coach. And then from there, every single time I pivoted throughout my career, which was a good 3, 4, 5 times, every single time I was making really good money, like multiple 6 figures in a company. And then it would strike. Okay, you're done here. This is the next thing. And you're like, what the hell? I've just worked so hard to build this. Like, start over again. And it's like, yes. So I would start over again. And then from there, build something up. And then, all right, it's time to pivot again. And then you would go. And then what's crazy is now creating the journal, which I had never had a dream to build an e-commerce business. Never thought, had never crossed my mind. But when I built this company, I look back at every single piece of my career, including pre-med school, including that, I had learned something that I needed to launch and start this company, which is so wild. So I never looked at anything as a waste of time. Everything was a growing experience of something I had to take away and learn in order to start it. So that's the power of really following your gut and intuition, and also how powerful your reality could become if you ignore the red flags and you pretend to just love life and pretend to just keep doing something for the money. Like my arrest, that was my rock bottom. And I'm so freaking grateful for it because I don't know where I would be if I had ignored that.
Great story. And it makes sense that you kind of have to scaffold on whatever skills you built at the previous level. And each step along the way, you're learning things you can put together and combine. That's great. I'm very curious if you can, I don't know if there's any more to say about sort of the method. I want to know, how did you come up with the questions in the Maniscripting Journal and why do you think they work?
Yeah. So the questions, it was literally me looking at old journals and what I had written down. It also came as well as I was doing lots of other self-development courses and just having those aha moments where I'm like, oh, that's a really, really good question. And I would add it in and change it up and restructure a few things. But every single question in it has a purpose. And sometimes people look at these questions and they're like, oh my gosh, these are so many different questions. This is going to take forever. This is so overwhelming. And it's like, yeah, because right now you're living in a place where your ego's kind of controlling everything and it's driving you. But let's take a look inside at the real shit, the hard stuff, and let's bring it to the surface. And I think people are afraid to dig deeper. People like to just suppress their emotions and stuff like that. They don't want to think about their past. They don't want to think about any sorts of trauma or things that happened to them. But a lot of those things, if you don't bring it up and out, it's going to hold you back. It's like wearing a heavy ass backpack all the time. And by bringing it up and out and just relieving yourself of it is so, so powerful. So that's why these questions work, because it covers everything from financial to business to love to health to relationships, even material stuff that you want in your life. Because hell, we're living a human experience, right? We deserve to have everything that we want in this lifetime. So I really focus on tapping into every single category mixed in with all of those things that have held you back, because we're programmed from birth. We're programmed by parents, our teachers, our government, our TV, movies, music, all of that. That's all programming us. So all of that, a lot of it is not good either, because a lot of people before our previous generations didn't really do this work like we do today, right? So it's really bringing this awareness to self to make your life as good as it possibly can get without all the pain and suffering with it either.
Yeah, it makes a certain sort of sense, at least for entrepreneurs, that the personal and the professional are not separated. You've got to kind of do things with your whole body and your whole spirit. So
Yeah.
I can really see that. I'm
Yeah.
curious, now that you are in e-commerce, how do you approach the marketing for this product? I see you've been featured on all kinds of great media outlets. Is PR a big part of it, or how do you approach marketing this tool for personal transformation?
Yeah, we love to dabble in it all. I don't believe you should just focus on one method of marketing. I do have a PR team that gets us featured and all of those things. Do I think those bring in a lot of, for example, customers and leads? I don't think so, but I do know that a lot of customers look for that credibility, right? Like if you can say you've been in X, Y, and Z and all of that, I think that's really important. We do a lot of paid marketing, Meta, Facebook, Instagram. That's a big part as well, even though, oh my gosh, it is a roller coaster emotional ride with that. Some weeks it will be so freaking hot and we think we're onto something. And the next weekend, everything just freaking plummets and shatters. And it's so frustrating, but we do play that game. And then we've recently tried out TikTok Shop. Haven't had much success with that at all, even though we even have TikTok strategists helping us to launch such a new platform, but we haven't seen success. We're not sure if that's the price point of our journal or not. We're a $60 journal. So I feel like a lot of things on there maybe are on the cheaper end, or it's just not our demographic that we're hitting correctly. So we have tried that. We are now starting up affiliate marketing. So we're launching a program for our customers to be affiliates, which we're very excited about because I would rather pay our personal customers all day long in commission fees rather than paying Meta directly. I would truly rather. So we're really hoping that that can grow and scale. So maybe we can pull back on that social media marketing spend. And then just organically, I love social media. I'm really good at creating content. So where I'm posting on our personal Instagram, our TikToks almost every day. And then of course, our email marketing is huge. We have a really huge email list. So I'm making sure that we are sending out not just sales emails, the nurturing emails really, really help us convert with customers. And then also really nurturing. And we have a private offsite community. We don't use Facebook groups or anything like that. We built a private app community for our core women, which is amazing. So that's growing and scaling. And that's where we do host a lot of master classes and where they can all post their questions and pictures of their journal and what they're going through, what they've manifested and stuff like that. So we've kind of done it all as far as marketing goes in that aspect. We're starting to dive into podcast marketing. I have my personal podcast, which is Money Mindset and Manicures. But we are looking this next year to be in ads on different people's podcasts and be in that space as well. So we're just kind of really dabbling in everything. And I feel like because it takes so many more times for someone to see someone these days, before I think it used to be around 7 times before they buy. Now it's like 12, 15, even 20 sometimes. And I know just even as behavior as myself as a customer, I see my behavior. I'm like, oh yeah, I've had that in my Amazon cart for like 3 weeks before I pulled the trigger, or seeing something on TikTok a million times. And then it's just that one day they caught me in a good mood where I'm ready to spend. And I do that. So I know that the importance of just kind of being everywhere or wherever your not everywhere unless your demographic's not there, but by being everywhere that makes sense for you is so important.
Yeah, there's kind of an omnipresent strategy
Mhm.
there of
Mhm.
we don't know when we're going to catch someone. We understand they're not going to buy the very first time they see it, and they need to keep seeing it, whether it's an ad, whether it's an organic post or an email or what have you. That makes a lot of
Mhm.
sense.
Yep.
This might be a silly question, but you kind of mentioned you have a community in there too. I'm curious why you went right to a product as opposed to, let's say, webinars, communities, things like that. It sounds like there's an element of that, but how did you know, or how did you select to go right to a product that you could scale up and sell it at this price point?
Yeah. So when I first started, of course, I was in the online space. I was online coach. I knew how to create all the programs, all the funnels, all the webinars, all the digital products, you name it. I've done it. And this one specifically, I had a couple friends that were kind of like consulting me on, is this a good idea? They had launched different journal companies before or helped them out. And they had told me, like, you should launch with a digital journal. That's how X, Y, and Z company did it first. And the second I heard that, my gut reaction was absolutely not. And I knew in that moment, this isn't going to be a digital, because of the power and beauty of having this physical product. Our physical journal is so freaking beautiful. It is gorgeous. It is luxurious. It is stunning. And I'm not just saying that to toot my own horn. Even to this day, I use the journal every single day. A lot of people ask me, do you even use your own product? Yes, I'm obsessed with it. I am so in love with it. And the beauty of it being a physical product is because I know what it's like to be online 24/7. I'm on my phone, on my laptop, or on my iPad all the time. So I know that if in the morning, if I woke up, because you're supposed to use this journal first thing in the morning, if I woke up first thing in the morning and got on my phone to do my journaling, because we did release the digital product this year, because so many people were asking us for a long time, we were saying, no, no, no. And finally, we're like, okay, fine, let's just release it. But I know if I got on my phone or my iPad to journal, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to have a million notifications. I'm going to see my emails. I'm going to see my text messages. Even if I'm on Do Not Disturb, those things are going to start coming in. And my mind is going to be already itching at, just open your email, just open your text real quick. Let's just go see, right? You just get lost in the world of the online space instantly. So having a journal, you're not yet connecting to the world. You don't even have the temptation, because you're getting this book, you're opening it up, and you're diving into doing your journaling. It's like 10, 15-minute process at most. You can do it longer if you want, but that's all it takes. And then I start with my mind being right. I feel good. I'm excited. I've already jotted down, because there's sections in there. It's like, what 3 action steps do you need to take today towards your goals? And then writing out all these other things as well. I'm already in the mindset where I'm like, all right, let's go do this. Like, that's what's top of mind. I'm not waking up and being reactive to everything else that's going on in the world, which is just going to lead you to entire day. You're just being reactive and you're not taking action on those things that you want, or those things that you want are not top of mind. So that's why the decision was, I wanted to make a journal, and we did it.
Sounds like they may discover you online, but the work
Yes.
happens offline.
Yes.
Get away from the internet. Get
Yep.
get into yourself. I also wanted to ask: are you in your target demographic? Are the people you're selling to? It sounds like women. Are they certain type of women where it's like you really understand them and you're able to speak their language?
Yeah, it's wild when we get asked about demographic, especially when it comes to, for example, running ads, right? Well, our demographic of women, because we are a product that literally is for anyone. If you have a desire to change your life, if there is one thing that you don't like about your life, come on into the community, because we have women from literally like 18 all the way through their 60s. No joke. I've literally had even in-person events where I had women from 18, 20 to the 60s come and show up. It's incredible. You're never too late to start taking action on your dreams. You're never too old. You're never too young. It is extremely incredible. And even as far as the careers that these women have, we have retirees. I have college kids. I have high school girls. I have moms. I have career women. I'm not kidding you. I probably have someone in every single career in this community. And it just goes to show, it literally doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, what you do. You have the power to change your life. And I'm so excited and grateful to be a part of these women's journey, to be able to help them get super clear and change it and do what they are feeling called to do. Because most people, they don't. They walk around asleep. They walk around asleep. They're in the rat race. They're doing the same thing every single day because they're told to. They go to school, they go to college, they go get a job that they hate. They're then complaining, rack up all these bills. They're handcuffed to their job, right? That's not the way we're supposed to live. It's not. And I'm glad that I am a company that's trying to shake things up, especially for our future generations, because the power and beauty of living your life in true alignment and truly waking up and loving what you do, it is possible. And I think there's just too many people out there still today that don't see it that way. And then they're kind of training and telling our next generations, well, that's just the way it is. And it's not. So that's kind of how it is in our community, and why I think we attract so many incredible people.
That sounds wonderful. I'm curious, in the sort of therapy world,
Mm-hmm.
people use the phrase setting boundaries. I'm intuiting, or I'm sort of picking up maybe that's part of it, of women have a lot of roles and responsibilities. And maybe for whatever reason, they're in situations that have overstepped their boundaries and they maybe need to reassert them. Am I understanding that right?
Yeah, I feel like with women, we are such powerhouses. We are such incredible creators. And just since the dawn of time, we have been put in this box and bubble to just be. And I think a lot of us disconnect from that intuition and all of that. So as far as even therapy goes, I mean, it's the awakening process, right? And men need this too. We are creating a men's journal because I work with lots of men and not even directly with men, but hear about the conversations that the women in my community are having with their men. And there is just so much awakening that has to happen in our world with our people and just to be able to heal. And we all come into this reality, and this isn't even to get like spiritual or woo woo, but we all come into this reality with a light and a purpose. And majority of people never get to live out their purpose because of all the external things that happen. I started with women only because I'm a woman and I don't know and understand men to the point because I'm not one. And I'm not saying women can't help men. We definitely can. We open up so many different things for men, but I wanted to first work with women and then have a good solid group of men to come in to also help when we release the men's journal so that the men in our community can also have that support that they need too.
Yeah, very cool. I would be remiss not to ask you for maybe top of funnel ads or when people are first hearing of your brand and the product, what sort of messaging do you use? Are you speaking to that aspirational sort of piece of how great their lives could be? Or are you maybe focusing on, hey, they're in a place they don't like. We have to go a little more negative and acknowledge that their life isn't what they want it to be. I'm curious if you could talk a little bit about that. Of when people first encounter you and the product and your brand, what kind of messaging are you using?
Yeah, it definitely ranges. We definitely test from all sides of the spectrum. We definitely run it from a place of, hey, are you unhappy with your current life? Are you tired of being broke? Are you tired of being depressed, miserable, anxious, all those sorts of things? We run things from that side. We also run things from, hey, do you want to manifest your dream life? Do you have lots of goals that you don't know how to achieve and all that sort of stuff? And everything in between. We really do a lot of testing because everyone doesn't think the same way. This journey of this journal is so wide. We can never just pinpoint it on goal setting or any of that. And we even used the first few years of it. Manifestation was the big hook because manifestation was what was trending on social media. Everyone was talking about it. So I use that as a way of hooking with manifestation. But inside, it is all mindset, self-development. It is deep. But a lot of times, if we led with that deepness, people get scared because they've never done it before, or they don't get it, or they think they don't need it. But in reality, everybody needs it. Everyone needs to be self-development and mindset work all the time, every single week, whether it's reading something, journaling stuff, podcast, listening to stuff, really working on it because there are so many things out there that are against us every single day. Heck, just open Instagram and you have negative crap all over the place. That's programming you to feel a certain way, think a certain way, act a certain way. And being in charge of what you're feeding in is so important. So that's why we use just a broad spectrum of seeing what works. And we've never had anything that we have used as far as ads go. It's not, for example, the whole, are you feeling tired and depressed? That has never fully beat out another one. It's like, hey, want to change your life and manifest your goals? They're always around the same. So it's really cool to see that different people just are attracted to different things. And we just happen to meet them at the point in their life that they're at, ready to change or ready to be open to change.
Love it. Sounds good. Well, I recommend people check out maniscripting.com, MANI scripting.com, like manifesting, right? You are on, I know, many social channels. Where's a good place for people to find you if they're interested and they want to follow and learn more?
Yeah, Instagram is my favorite platform. You get everything. You get behind the scenes of the business. You get behind the scenes of my life. I'm super, super real on there. So at Samantha Kozuch, just my full name, you can find me there and connect as well.
All right. Sounds good. Samantha, thank you so much for coming on and sharing what's working in e-commerce.
Thank you so much, Eagan.